Hello and welcome to a live and in-person episode of A Muggle's Perspective. I, Rogge, your perspective, and coming to you from Braden's kitchen.
Yeah, welcome.
It's good to be here, Braden.
It's good that you're here. So we're here. We're in my kitchen. Cooper's asleep at our feet currently, and in a matter of moments, we will also be joined by a delicious feast prepared by Ale Emporium. So we're going to have some traditional wings.
We'll once and for all settle the score.
No, there's no score to be settled.
Superior preparation.
There's no score to be settled. There's just judgment to be withheld. And it's kind of one-sided.
Well, there's judgment to be made, too, about this particular wing location. I've never eaten their food.
That judgment is to be made. I think you're going to be... I don't know. Some people are kind of hit or miss on the Hermanaki style wings, but I think they're good. I think it's a nice switch up. Like it's not your traditional like.
Isn't it the only flavor you've ever gotten from this place? So to quote Marcel the Shell, switch up from what?
Switch. I guess I just view Ale Emporium as a switch up from the generic like cheap American wing, i.e. B-dubs.
It's like a early 2000s infomercial, like, are you tired of eating the same old chicken wings?
That are overpriced.
Oh, yeah, because these were really reasonably priced.
I feel like with these, yes, they're expensive. I feel like I'm actually getting what I pay for. When I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, it's like I get done, and it's like, especially if like the team I went to watch at Buffalo Wild Wings lost, it's like, what did I hate myself. Why did I do this?
Where are you at on making your own traditional wings? Like smoking them or grilling them?
I would love to experiment with that. I think that would be good.
Okay, we'll have to get on that. We're here in person today to do something that we cannot do separately, which is watch a movie together. We cannot do it separately, and we can say this coming from a place of knowledge because we have tried.
There's experience there.
If you're thinking of an easy way that we could have watched the movie from two totally separate cities, we have tried that. We did Google Hangouts. We did Google Meetings.
Yeah, we tried everything Google had to offer. Mm-hmm. Tried FaceTime. Mm-hmm. Tried Skype.
Tried streaming it live on Facebook. Did we try Instagram like stories? I think we probably did.
I don't know if we did or not. Basically, we could not get the movie in Warsaw to time up perfectly with the movie in Lafayette. Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to watch it together. We're going to talk briefly now, because as we do, discuss things briefly and succinctly. We're usually efficient in our vocabulary.
Focused and to the point. Don't waste a lot of time.
We're going to briefly go through some anticipatory questions before Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and then we will come to you after having watched the movie and eaten the wings.
With our bellies full and our hearts even more full.
Mm-hmm. And our dogs fluffy.
The fluffiest.
Like, listeners, I had seen Cooper before coming here today. I had met him in person. I had petted him, and I enjoyed it. I came today, and nothing could have prepared me for how fluffy he was. I'm told that he's getting a haircut in about 2 days' time as we stand here on the 9th of July. The only reason you can see his eyes is because Hannah took scissors and already cut his face fur.
Yeah, and we learned the hard way. That's, like, we approached that pretty arrogantly. Like, I would just take some kitchen scissors and just, like, cut it out of his eyes so the poor guy can see a little bit. It'll be fine. You won't even be able to tell. You can tell.
He looks a little weird.
His head just looks a little bit, like, roundish in ways it shouldn't. Like, it's not a good look. We're going to get it fixed Saturday.
It's tough to make Cooper anything but handsome, though. You know, he comes out that much handsomer for it, I think.
Yeah. The fluff is real, and it's kind of getting out of control at this point. So
yeah, you're past the point, like, it's hubris to think that you can control the fluff. Like, the fluff controls you at this point.
We can merely contain it.
Yeah, you can hope to. So I've got 3 questions for Braden as to what he anticipates from this upcoming cinematic venture. Braden, my first question, I think it's a question on everyone's mind, is what are you anticipating from Ron and Lavender's snogging? In terms of like minutes and hours spent on screen portraying it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be... I hope that... So who directs this one?
The same guy that directed the fifth one directs all future Harry Potter themed and worlded and canonized movies.
Okay. So hopefully he takes like a little bit of a comedy approach with that and kind of overdoes it maybe with the snogging. Like just a lot of random cut scenes of Ron snogging. Not because I want to see that because I'm a weirdo, but like I just think it would be funny. Like to just like that's Ron's thing this movie. Also, I feel like it could get kind of like I'm almost kind of nervous about the snogging because I feel like the last two movies really have really like stepped up each time in like kind of the amount of, I don't know how to describe it, like
adult themes.
Yeah, adult themes. And
Darkness.
So like I think as a director kind of have to make a judgment call here on how hot and heavy the snogging gets.
They should have gotten Quentin Tarantino to direct this.
Just people shooting each other.
Well, it's snogging. It's a cut of them snogging, and then you just pan down to their feet, and then now it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah. Wings are here as we speak.
Hannah, come on the pod. As always, come on the pod.
Yeah. So that's what I think about the quantity and quality of snogging.
So would you say that the snogging is your most anticipated scene, or is there a certain scene that you're really looking forward to seeing portrayed?
I mean, I know it's the cop-out answer, but I'm really anticipating the scene where Snape murders Dumbledore. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's going to be a real, like, what's the guy's name who plays Snape, the actor?
Alan Rickman.
That's a big scene for Alan Rickman. Like that, I mean... There's a lot of emotion and I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be really tense, and so I'm anticipating. I want to see how he handles that as an actor. I also want to see how the kid that plays Malfoy handles this movie as an actor, because he's just got to be kind of weird this whole movie. I feel like act kind of worn out, sick, skittish, stressed, which I feel like is kind of hard to just fake. So
I want to assure you that our listeners are not tired of hearing you talk about your reactions to the Snape Voldemort encounter here at the end of the movie. That is, I mean, that's why people are listening. They're tuning in. They want to hear what you think about that. They like that you're anticipating it, and it's what you're thinking about, because it's what we're all of us in the fandom are still thinking about. I mean, it's one of the, you can say even now, you haven't finished the series, but you know it's one of the pivotal moments.
Yeah. I was just talking today to my brother-in-law Mitchell, who's been on the pod. He still wants Malfoy dead. We were kind of just talking about like how I feel like it hasn't even, like, we've read it, talked about it, reacted to it. It still hasn't really set in with me.
And when you see it,
yeah, I think it's gonna add a whole nother like dimension of reality to where the story's going at this point.
Is there a new character that you are looking forward most to meeting?
McLaggen. I want to see how he's portrayed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking
about that.
I was thinking that all you were going to be able to come up with was Slughorn. Like, who's a new character for this one? It's Slughorn. But I like the McLaggen pull.
In my head, Slughorn is a softer version of Uncle Vernon.
They should have just gotten the same guy.
Yeah, they should have just like filmed all his scenes as Uncle Vernon with the mustache, and then just had him shave it off and film all the scenes as Slughorn. Or just had him grow a goatee to be Slughorn.
In terms of physicality, I think you're right on.
Yeah.
Because it always describes Slughorn as like walrus-shaped.
Yep.
And just like bulging his like multiple coats at the buttons and stuff. And that's really the shape that Richard Griffiths takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
During the film. So that's excellent. Is there a scene? Okay, this isn't a question. This is a prompt. Of the various important scenes you can think of, I need you to pick one that they're going to not show, and I need you to be mad about it.
I think they are not going, and I don't know how this rates on importance in the grand scheme of things, but I think they're going to cut the scene where Ron unknowingly drinks the old, I forget what they call that potion.
Love potion?
Love potion.
What? The potion that makes you fall in love?
The
Drawing a
love
blank. Could
potion
someone-
that makes him fall in love with Romilda Vane.
Yeah.
Um,
And
which-
then the scene where he gets poisoned after that.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that can be pretty much easily explained and save time, probably, in cinematic terms.
So I'll tell you that from the last move, from 5 going forward, David Yates, one of the things that he, kind of a philosophy that he really takes for all of these films, and he gets more and more into it, is these are the Harry Potter books. It's about Harry Potter. Storylines that aren't Harry Potter centric are the first things on the chopping block. So we need to follow Harry's journey. We get less and less scenes without Harry in them, scenes focused on someone else of Harry reacting to other stuff. It's a lot of what's happening to Harry and his reactions to them. So I'm not saying that scene is or is not cut, but I am saying that you're on the right track as far as like, this is a big, thick book. They need to cut something for time, and you're not going to cut one of the big Harry scenes.
Yeah, and I think I think that makes sense as the director. Like, you read these books, and I think the books are Harry-centric, right? Like, there's some subplots and, like, different storylines going on with different characters, but it all kind of revolves around how it relates to Harry.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you're trying to pack things into, 90 minutes? I don't know, like...
Yeah, maybe a little longer.
You got to cut stuff that is fluff.
Don't you dare cut Cooper. I saw where you're going with that. I didn't like it.
We got to keep some of the fluff. Just got to get rid of some fluff. You know?
Hannah, do you have any questions for Braden in advance of watching the movie? Anything that you want to ask what he's thinking before we click play? Couldn't hear you guys. Have to speak into the mic.
No.
I would have kicked myself if I didn't give her the chance to speak up. So if Hannah thinks we're ready, then we must be ready. It only took us 15 minutes to pre-cap the movie. We will come back to you with more Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince movie content after eating wings. All right, guys, welcome back to... We're just going to leave that on the background.
I like it. Ambiance.
Here at Muggle's Perspective, we're all about the ambiance.
Muggle's Perspective ASMR.
Not the first or second time. All right, we're back. Couple of ant boys just pounded some wings.
AMP boys.
Just pounded some wings. I'm getting ready because Hannah is going to come on the pod here in a minute, and we're going to fight about some stuff, so that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Until then, Braden, your rapid reactions. We just watched Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and really, I mean, a shot-for-shot remake of the book, you would say.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It almost got boring. It was so
It was
just
like,
similar. It's like
Change it up a little
I've
bit.
I've already read this.
Bring your own artistic vision.
If you can't hear the sarcasm, I mean, we're laying it on pretty thick.
If you're watching this and you haven't seen Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince for some reason, if you're listening to this, it's pretty different from the book.
Yeah, and it wasn't in a way that made me not like the movie. I'll say that. It was just some really interesting tweaks on like key scenes.
Yeah, there was some stuff that you would have thought from reading the book was pretty pivotal,
Right.
in how it was portrayed, and then come to find out, the director did not agree with you.
Yeah, and I expected things to be dropped and, certain pieces to be added to kind of help the story along. Like small things, right?
Right.
Like things that probably didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But like, I mean, the entire murder scene with Snape and Dumbledore.
Real different.
Dumbledore still gets killed by Snape. But
Spoiler alert.
that's about it.
Yeah. Dumbledore, I like Dumbledore telling Draco to disarm him. Draco, look, I'm just going to... Okay, you disarmed me. That's fine. I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it's a lot more... It felt quicker. And we talked about that kind of like throughout the movie. And again, this isn't a fair criticism of most of the films, right? Like I've complained about a lot of the movies so far feeling super jumpy and fast, and like we're just cutting, to new scene.
I think this one takes
is the worst. Yeah. And like I was saying, it's not a completely fair criticism because there is so much to pack in. I mean, you can't do a shot for shot.
Something that I noticed for the first time when watching the sixth movie today, as I did. I mean, I've watched it many times before, as you can imagine. It's not really trying to tell the same story. It is a film that is showing you events that happened as you read them in the book, and so it's portraying them visually. But in making it, the Harry Potter books are pretty much all of them are essentially mysteries, and this movie is not. It tells you immediately who is doing what and why.
Yeah.
It doesn't shy away at all from looking to Draco every time Dumbledore's like, I hope no one gets in the castle, and it shoots to Draco and he's just like looking down. And
well, I mean, even with the scene of like, I think it was Arthur?
Yeah, it's Arthur.
It's Arthur. They just literally like talk about this vanishing cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like in the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm. So at some point they made a conscious choice. They were like, well, there's no way to do it where it's going to be a reveal that, oh man, it was Draco the whole time. Or they got people into the castle with a vanishing cabinet. So they just decided to tell us that. It was like a Shakespearean play where the fates tell you what's going to happen. I don't know if you've ever read like Macbeth or anything, but it gives away the main plot stuff in the beginning.
Does that bother you? Like, would you have liked to have seen it keep some of its mystery element?
I mean, I think that it's very difficult for me to divorce the movies from the books as just like an objective, movie watcher. But, I'm someone that watches movies and tries to look at them from a cinematography and, standpoint and like what's good writing and things like that. And it seems to me like if I hadn't read the book, it doesn't work as a storytelling device. If you hadn't read the book, there would be no emotions elicited. There's no
That's true.
character development. You didn't feel, and you felt sad that Dumbledore died because he's a dude that you've known from watching 5 other movies.
Right.
But things weren't built up. Like Harry and Dumbledore didn't really like bond all that much. At one point, Harry's like, "Sir," and Dumbledore's like, "Shush, just shut up, right now, Harry. I'm trying to think." Like, it doesn't. A lot of the stuff didn't pay off. Ron Lavender was weird. Ron Hermione doesn't really pay off. Harry Ginny, they never even like officially get together.
Yeah, and that was left open-handed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is none of that dialogue between Harry and Ginny at the end. That's like, hey, catch you on the flip side.
The flippity flop.
Yeah.
Like, think about what Harry is thinking at the end of the book. They're at the funeral and he's dealing with Scrimgeour and he's conflicted from seeing like Umbridge at Dumbledore's funeral.
There was no
He's
Scrimgeour.
frustrated
I just
about
realized that.
There was 0 Scrimgeour. He comes in the next one.
Didn't even think about that.
He's mad about that. He's like, oh man, I've got to go find these Horcruxes. He feels like he has to take it upon himself. 1% of that comes across in the movie.
Yeah.
They don't try to get you into what Harry is thinking and feeling. There's not a seemingly a conscious attempt at building empathy with characters.
I even felt like the scene showing Snape committing to the unbreakable vow was just and I don't know how you would have shown that, because you can't cut that out. Like that's a vital detail of the story, but it felt like and maybe I'm biased, like I've read the book, so I knew it was going to happen, but it felt like watching that scene, it was like, okay, like Snape's going to kill him.
Right.
Because like the language is so thick and heavy in that
Mhm.
scene of like Bellatrix saying, you know, and if he can't do it, do you vow to finish the job yourself?
Well, in the book, the mystery is supposed to be, who is he? In the book, they never say, all right, so Draco has been tasked by the Dark Lord with murdering Dumbledore. So, as a reader, and I'd have to go back and listen. I don't remember exactly what you said, but as a reader, you're kind of supposed to think that they're talking about Harry. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a flip that, oh wow, all of this was actually targeted at Dumbledore. And you're right, that's more obvious in the book, or I'm sorry, in the movie. And that's, like I said, it's a mystery. You can't just take a mystery novel, strip out the mystery aspects, and then still have it be effective storytelling. And take out all of the character, but like story building stuff. There's 2 Quidditch scenes. There's.
I will say though, the Quidditch scenes were really good.
Yeah, the ones that were in, and then but then they just drop it. Like they're making a big deal about how Ron's nervous, and then he has a good match, and that's it. Like you literally don't see more Quidditch.
It's almost like they took the book and said, okay, what are the most entertaining things? What are the most important things?
Mm-hmm.
And then how can we rush through all, like, how can we just briefly touch on all of them?
What do we have to have? And I guess we'll include it because we have to,
right.
But we don't want to.
What can we basically just give no more than 15 to 20 seconds to be able to say, like, yep, that was in the book and we included it, until we get to the ultimate scene at the end. Basically the cave, Voldemort's cave, and then the murder.
But then after that, they cut out the conversation in the hospital wing where Harry's telling everyone about it, and Lupin is distraught, and McGonagall is distraught, and Bill gets hurt. That's my thing, and we haven't even mentioned this. Yeah. The entire battle scene. I was pumping it up when we were reading the book. Like, man, isn't this battle scene really cool? Like, you've got Neville, you've got a giant Death Eater for some reason. Everyone's firing off spells. Like, there's spells going everywhere. You really see Death Eaters versus Dumbledore's army / Order of the Phoenix. And it literally doesn't happen. I remember sitting in the theater thinking, what's going on? Bellatrix is kicking dishes? I've been waiting a year and a half for this specific scene. Like, I want to see the fight. Like, there's no dueling.
Yeah, it was kind of a letdown, that whole scene. I feel like that was the Harry Potter series chance to like have its Marvel action scene, right? Mm-hmm. Like the choreographed fighting, and
we had some of it at the end of the 5th movie.
Yeah. So I feel like we touched on it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but you don't have to. You're not like, okay, we're done with that. We can just move on and not do action scenes anymore.
No. Yeah, because I feel like this one, you needed this more than you did the previous. The previous was cool, and they did a good job with it. You needed this one more. Mm-hmm.
Were there any, from like an acting perspective, did anyone stick out to you as being better than you'd anticipated, or missing the mark?
I talked about in the, what'd you call it, the precast? The pre.
Sure.
I don't know.
We can call it whatever.
Talked about how important or how big of a role this.
Hannah's coming on the pod later.
I talked about how important I felt like Draco's. What's
Tom Felton.
Tom Felton. How big of an opportunity he had in this movie, just from reading the book, to kind of stand out as an actor. And I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, they were like, we need you to brood for a whole movie.
Yeah, and he literally did.
Yeah.
And I thought his emotion at the end, like the internal conflict of like, I have to kill Dumbledore.
He popped all these veins in his face that like, I don't have in my face.
Yeah, that was good. I thought he did a good job.
What'd you think of Slughorn? Was he sluggy and horny enough? Yeah.
Well done.
No. It was a good joke.
Well done.
Thanks.
Guys, can we give it up for him one more time?
Yes. Sluggy and horny. Porous. My guy, Jim Broadbent.
There we go. Good. I expected he was different than I expected.
He wasn't as fat as you'd think.
He wasn't as fat.
That's what it comes down to.
I also expected him to just be more like of. So it's interesting. He and McLagan both, I expected to be more like brute-ish.
Okay.
Like just kind of lumbering, like.
He's often described as being like out of breath and like shuffling around in the movie. Mm-hmm.
And I felt like this.
He was awkward.
Yeah, the way he was portrayed in this movie was more just like kind of. Just like unassuming and awkward. Like just. Like had a high pitch, like spoke in a high pitched voice most of the time. Like.
Okay, some of us just have high voices.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I guess I didn't.
Braden's beef. I see it coming.
I thought that he would have been a more like they would have leaned into that arrogance. I guess.
Yeah, he needs to have a big charismatic like personality that draws people in, or at least it's very confident. You know, can lead whole conversations by himself and tell these stories and like be that spider that's drawing people in, and you don't really see that. Yeah,
he didn't have that like commanding personality, like when he walks into a room. That I kind of that's how I read it. I guess.
A lot of the fandom, at least from what I have seen over the last 10 years or whatever since this movie came out, 10 years, actually really likes Jim Broadbent's portrayal of Slughorn.
Yeah, I did not like it.
So I think it's just different from what you necessarily picture in your head. But he comes, I think of anyone, I mean, talk about someone that you empathize with and like gets some emotion across. Like in that scene where he is drunk, but then he's clear-eyed for just a minute and he's like, Harry, like I know what's going on. You know, I really did love your mom. Some of that kind of stuff I thought was affecting. And like you did get the impression that he wanted to pull people in.
Yeah. Yeah, so while it wasn't what I expected, like I'm okay with it.
Lavender was the snogging. There wasn't as much snogging.
Not a ton of snogging. I thought the girl that played Lavender did a great job of being like over the top and obnoxious.
Yep.
Really, I don't know if there's anybody that I can think of that I felt like just dropped the ball or like didn't do a great job.
When I walked out of the theater, I don't know who. I'm sure I saw it with Eric Tutherow and Steven Sells and Jacob Merriman, and we looked at each other and we were like, Bonnie Wright dropped the ball. Ginny Weasley dropped the ball.
Yeah.
From the Ginny in the book is this like confident, witty, like capable, intelligent, young woman who is like described as very attractive, but like knows what she wants and goes and gets it, and some of it's the writing. It's not her fault that she has to say, he's covered in blood. Why is he always covered in blood? And like she's not given the chance sometimes, but there's other times where it's just not what I wanted from Ginny.
I felt the same way, but I guess I felt more of it the fault lies in the writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like her script is just bland.
It is. And so, that's a chicken and egg. Are they purposely writing bland stuff because they know that she can't portray that emotion? She just doesn't have the acting chops.
But I guess I didn't feel like that in previous movies.
Right.
And maybe she just didn't have as much of a, like, Ginny's a more important character in this movie than she has been in previous, obviously. So maybe I just didn't notice it in previous movies because she wasn't as important of a character.
It's one of those things where they cast her when she was like 9 or whatever to be in the first movie. She had to be really young. And Dan Radcliffe grows up and he's like, he's an actor and he plays Harry and he does a good job.
Yeah.
And, Emma Watson, you can't complain there.
Sure.
Like if you want, an attractive leading lady kind of thing. And she gives it all as far as acting. Rupert does his thing. Yeah. And you go 3 for 4.
I don't think Rupert's a stellar actor either.
No.
Though. Like I haven't been like it's not that he kills the Ron role, but
picture him in love with Romilda Vane looking up at the moon. That's
good.
pretty good.
He did a good job.
That's
there.
very good.
Yeah. But that would be challenging. Like as the the casting director, or whatever you would call it, you pick out kids when they're super young and just hope that they're pretty good actors and actresses.
You're always just picking out kids when they're super young, and like, what are you gonna do? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Jeez Louise. Where's the? Just a yikes.
Yeah, but like you bring these kids in and they maybe fit the role at that. Maybe Bonnie Wright fits Ginny at a certain age, and then like when she's more important here in one of the last books, it's like her character changes, and is Bonnie Wright still the best actress for that role?
But then you're gonna get blowback if you just recast her.
Right.
Like
you can't do that.
Like who? If like Kristen Stewart is now playing Ginny Weasley, that's weird.
Emma Stone.
This is that's just the answer for everything. This isn't a conversation for right now necessarily. But I know. Come on the pod and tell us about it. This isn't a conversation for right now necessarily. Well, she's going to come on the pod and tell you about it. But
I have never made a comment about
that's
Emma
not
Stone.
true. You have made comments about Emma Stone. We all know. Listeners, let us know. Howl in with previous references. Is there an argument to be made that Emma Watson is too attractive to play Hermione? Is more attractive than Hermione is written as being?
So you've talked about that before, and I know that I feel like I know that a lot of Harry Potter fans, like that's a big controversial thing, right? Like
I don't think
that
it's not like something that's always being debated or anything.
Really?
It's not. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't hear a lot of conversation about it.
I thought that was a bigger thing than maybe it is.
You don't think you don't see it?
Well, I just I guess, and maybe I wasn't in tune enough with the details of Hermione's initial descriptions from JKR, but like I never really thought of, well, if I'm being completely honest.
Wow. Wow. Listeners, Braden turned around and is like, Are we done? Are we done picking up the extra wings, Hannah? Come on. I'm trying to podcast here. I'm trying to get through my point about Emma Watson.
I thought it was like Cooper chewing.
I'm just trying to say she's no Emma Stone.
No, so I think I came into doing this podcast and reading the books with Emma Watson is Hermione in my head.
Right.
You know, I had seen the part one of the Deathly Hallows or whatever
movie,
with you, and had heard you guys in our friend group in high school or whatever talk about Harry Potter enough to know like Emma Watson is Hermione
there was
Granger.
a 5-year period of time when if you spent time around me, you were like, oh, okay, like I know who Emma Watson is now.
Yeah, so I guess that's never really crossed my mind as like, oh, she's too pretty to be Hermione. I guess that's never been
I think they fit the role around it. Like in the books, there's not in the book Cormac isn't like, oh, who's this girl? Like Ron introduced me to your friend Granger. Like that's something that happens. She's it like in the fourth movie, she comes down the stairs and she's in this dress and it's like, wow, look what she did to her hair. It's like this big step up. Like she's not, it says in the books, like she's not slumped over anymore. She put on makeup. Like she looks visibly different. It's like a glow up situation. And you just don't get that. Like Dan Radcliffe said himself, like it wasn't the same like emotional thing for me because like she was already Emma Watson. So like the real descriptions of her are like frizzy hair, like or bushy hair, I guess, and buck teeth. Which later gets fixed, like canonically, so she doesn't have to have buck teeth. I'm not mad about that, but Ginny is described as being like there's repeated things that are like, oh yeah, like a lot of people in school like her, you know, Pansy talking to Draco, or Blaze, even you think she's attractive, Blaze, you know, like her attractiveness is laid out like it's supposed to be, and you know, like I'm not here to cast, you know, to really get into the details of like how attractive Emma Watson and Bonnie Wright are, but I have heard it said that, like, you know, maybe they should have been flipped.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know that Bonnie Wright can carry the emotions that Hermione needs to portray.
No, because I think that's the other piece of this.
Maybe just like face-wise, like just physically.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the whole other side of that discussion is like the way these books are written, and then the way the movies are written around them. Like that role needs to be played by a really strong actress. Like it can't just be anybody. So that may have been more important.
So while we were watching the movie, listeners, Hannah was watching with us, and we got near the end here, and Hannah's seen the crowd of people around Dumbledore's body, and she was like, he's not really dead, right? Like, we can all kind of agree. Is he? She looks at me, she's like, is he dead? And I was like, what do you want me to say? Like, Braden and I are about to read the 7th book. We're about to, we have more movies to watch. I'm trying to host a podcast that's about what someone in this room being spoiled. And Hannah fought back at me. Hannah, come on. Come on the pod. Hannah, did you think that I didn't give a good note? Why do you think that Dumbledore's not dead? You gotta get right up. You gotta get right up to the mic. Kind of just like your mouth's right by it. Why don't you think Dumbledore's dead? And why did you think I didn't give a very good answer? Closer, like a lot, like 6 inches closer, like right by the mic, like right there.
Well, I think you were very vague, which indicates that Dumbledore was not really dead.
Okay, so what did you want me to do? You wanted me to be just like, oh yeah, he's dead. He's not dead. He's gonna come back halfway through the next book that we're gonna read.
Yeah.
You don't think that would have spoiled Braden at all?
Well, I don't
Ruined
know. And
2.5 years of.
I could tell that Dumbledore wasn't really dead.
You can how could you tell?
I don't know.
Because of me? Because of my vagueness?
No,
Rogge
because
had
that
a
would be
very
too
like
easy.
Rogge response. Like Hannah was like, "Wait, so is he really dead?" And Rogge just like deadpan stared at her and was like,
I shrugged.
"What do you think? I'm just gonna spoil it." So like, yeah, he's got like I thought Dumbledore was good and dead, and now I'm kind of like, probably not.
I was like, I mean, I don't tell you, Hannah. Like in the book, there was a funeral. They put him in a tomb. She's like, okay, got it. So he's alive. Thanks for letting me know. Also, how do you feel about Braden's disdain for your need to pack away leftovers? Also, how do you feel about Braden's thoughts on Emma Stone?
Yeah, can we talk about this Emma Stone thing that's just the
kind of
elephant in the room?
It's hanging over us like a cloud.
Because I don't understand it.
Well,
So somebody please explain it to
you
me.
just brought up Emma Stone kind of out of the blue.
Yeah, you bring her up a lot.
She's redheaded, like Ginny.
Is she? Okay, which one's Emma Stone? What movies am I missing that had Emma Stone in them?
Is she
in
the
500 Days of
Scarlet
Summer?
Letter?
The Scarlet Letter. There was a
She's
Scarlet
really
Letter
good in The
movie?
Help. She's Skeeter in The Help.
Haven't seen The Help. Okay. She looks a little bit like Anne Hathaway. Am I wrong about that? Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm wrong about that.
Yeah,
I've
we've
seen
had this
bitches.
conversation before. You thought previously that she looked like Anne Hathaway, and I was
Okay.
kind of like, yeah,
I stand by it.
maybe.
Was she in like what's it? Mean Girls?
She's in Mean Girls.
Okay.
She was.
So I have not seen any movies with
Stone.
Emma Stone in them.
She's definitely in Mean Girls. Actually,
Are you thinking of Lindsay Lohan?
I know who Lindsay Lohan is.
maybe
Hannah.
Lindsay Lohan is Ginny.
Was she the right age at the time? When did Parent Trap come out?
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone movies. La La Land. Okay. The Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't see that one. That's Andrew Garfield one. Easy A, Crazy Stupid Love, The Help, Super Bad. Okay.
So she's not in Mean Girls?
The other Amazing Spider-Man. What's Aloha? Battle of the Sexes. She played tennis against Steve Carell.
Dang, I really thought she was in Mean Girls. I was wrong. But seriously, look at this photo. Like, that's Ginny.
How old is she?
Like, how old is she now?
When was she born?
She was born in 1988.
So she would have been 10 years old. Yeah, she would have been the right age.
She was Ginny.
She would have been the right age.
Yeah.
I see a problem in the first line of her Wikipedia, though. She's an American actress.
Oh, so she would have had to come up with a pretty convincing British accent.
Well, even more than that, J.K.R. was pretty insistent that, if not all of the characters, I mean, there's some European, like Crumb and people like that, but all of like the main like line speaking characters are British actors, like from a wanting to support the British film industry perspective. Like you're not just going to bring in Brad Pitt to play Snape or whatever. Like it's going to be these like famous British character actors.
I think John Hamm would.
She was on Malcolm in the Middle.
Who would be American Snape? I'm saying John Hamm.
American Snape. I think it would have been Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yeah. He's got the nose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He does have the nose.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's tall enough.
But Woody Harrelson's might be too weird.
Would he have been like serious?
Like Woody Harrelson can't play
Sirius
a character
Black,
that's like.
I really did mean
Yeah,
Sirius
he
Black.
could have been Sirius Black. Yeah, but Gary Oldman's Sirius Black, and Gary Oldman is
British.
the best. Is he actually British?
I assume so. He probably wouldn't be allowed to play Sirius Black if he
Well,
wasn't.
I'm sure JKR in her original statement was like, I want all English actors, but Gary Oldman.
He's an English actor.
Gary Oldman, like whatever he is, he's in.
He's a Gary Oldman. You could have gotten Frankie Muniz to play Harry, Emma Stone as Ginny. Who would have been Ron and Hermione?
Ron, Jonah Hill.
That he's not the right shape to
He's
play
not.
Ron.
He's too pudgy. Dax Shepard would have been Ron.
He's too old. Who? No, Drake Bell would have played Ron.
He's too cool.
The dude from Drake and Josh?
Yeah, he's like a rocker. I don't feel like the
didn't know he was
personality
cool.
of Ron is like,
I didn't know he was cool. He's a tall redhead.
but he's kind of like an oaf, like he's always
Ron?
chewing on.
I mean, like, I feel like he's always chewing on a turkey leg.
Yeah,
I feel like
he's
in
not that athletic.
my experience with Josh Bell is from Drake and Josh.
Oh, I thought you said Drake. Drake Bell.
Drake Bell. Yeah, Drake Bell. That's Josh Peck. Is the
Josh
other one.
Peck.
Drake Bell. He did physical comedy. There were pratfalls.
Maybe.
Who plays Dumbledore? Patrick Stewart, British. Ian McKellen,
Morgan
British.
Freeman.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
I would love a Morgan Freeman Dumbledore.
I would love a Morgan Freeman Dumbledore.
That'd be awesome.
Other thoughts, takeaways from this movie? You loved the Quidditch. Best Quidditch of the series.
Quidditch was really good. I wanted to point out that at one point, the early Quidditch scenes. Thank you.
Braden, I'm dragging this cooler to our apartment. Just FYI, just to give you a heads up.
I
There's a
think
cooler here.
I thought that the Gryffindor jerseys may or may not have been sponsored by Adidas. They had
Maybe
like
not been sponsored by
like the
Loyal
the hashtag 3-stripe line.
Chicago. I don't even know what that is.
Um,
They were tight. They were some form-fitting sweaters.
yeah, modern kits, bro.
Don't ever say kids in front of me again.
You can't have this loose, material that like could be grabbed. Clearly from what the scenes we saw today, like Quidditch is a very physical sport.
I'm going to go on record right now. Those were fouls on the Slytherin team. Madam Hooch, can we get an investigation to Madam Hooch? Can we call this straight up?
What are fouls though?
She's just tackling people. Cobbing, excessive use of elbows. They were just tackling people.
Yeah.
I don't have
But
the rules in front of me. There's 112 different fouls or something.
But I feel like the culture probably when Slytherin and Gryffindor plays is kind of like 80s NBA basketball.
You swallow the
right?
whistle.
Yeah, like if you're coming in the paint, you're gonna earn it.
And you just gotta let them decide it on the pitch.
Yeah.
I loved them like skittering the ball off of like the frozen ground.
Yeah.
And like bouncing it up to each other and keeping people off guard with that.
I love your use of skittering.
It wasn't accurate. It wasn't like
But it
the
fit.
right one.
It was
Yeah,
good.
it felt good.
I really liked. We saw some like play formations.
Yeah.
Like they were like flying V's.
Yeah.
Like
But it was like an offset flying V.
Yeah.
Like one on one side and four on
Yeah.
the other side.
it was cool. I liked it. And that's the podcast.
It was cool. I liked it.
General thoughts on the movie?
How
It was
many-
cool.
how many-
I liked it.
How many wands up?
Well, too soon, Rogge. And funeral scene. The one's up.
When Anna goes, why are they doing that? And I said, it's just one's
Solidarity.
Up.
It's a show of solidarity.
I said, one's up for Harambe. And she goes, what? I was like, never mind.
First of all, can we talk about some of the comedy pieces in this movie?
Yes, please.
Some of the one-liners. Real zingers.
What were some of the good ones?
The pincers is number one.
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting to do that for 2.5 years on the podcast. I do it once a week in my real life. What about
pincers and then Ron coming up after he was
Harry,
with...
did you and Ginny do it in the room of requirement?
What?
You and Ginny get it on up there? Yeah, get on hiding the book. Goodness gracious. That was a good one. Cormac McLagan sticking his pinky finger in his mouth.
That made me uncomfortable in a way I can't put into words.
More or less uncomfortable than Marcus Belby pounding the ice cream. My dad says the only potion worth having is a stiff one at the end of the day. That made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was weird, but nothing. Not. It doesn't even touch the weird pinky suck from McLagan.
Hermione wasn't like, no, don't. She was like, oh, I'm gonna look away, but like, okay.
Is that how you read it?
That's how I thought.
I thought she looked appalled.
She's always looking at. She looked at him on the Quidditch pitch, and they made eye contact, and she looked away, and then she like keeps looking at him at like Slughorn's party.
I don't know. I'm kind of glad that is over, the McLagan thing.
It barely got off the ground. We got not enough Romilda Vane, to be honest with you.
Not enough for Romilda
Like,
Vane.
how am I supposed to care about Romilda Vane? She was in one scene. Not enough. Can we go to class? These guys we're at a school. Can we go to class?
Yeah, that didn't happen very much at all.
There's one class. Snape was the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. I'm supposed to care about that, right? Didn't show it once.
I felt like the scene with Hagrid was rushed.
Mm-hmm. Which one? There were two scenes. There was two whole Hagrid scenes.
Well, I was kind of excited for the scene where Hagrid and Slughorn get like schmammered together.
And I think Slughorn does a good job, but they just cut out the Hagrid part.
Hagrid just passes out on the wall.
Mm-hmm. As one does.
Yeah. Other notable scenes or qualms with the movie.
Do you feel like it sets us up going forward? I said, Hannah, do you know what a Horcrux is? As a non-book reader. She was like, yeah. I said, okay, what are they? She's like, well, there's a book and a ring. You're like, that's true.
Yeah.
But from reading the books, you get a much better idea of where things are going. As a movie watcher, you're like, I don't freaking know what's going to happen. What could the other Horcruxes be? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like this finishing reading the book, and I feel like it watching the movie too. Like the way it ends it's not like really a cliffhanger or anything.
Right. No,
it's just
not.
kind of like, well, Dumbledore's dead, so Harry might not come back to school.
Got to go find some Horcruxes.
He might just go chase Horcruxes.
Some Horcruxing.
I guess I was hoping, or not hoping, but I would have expected more of a lead-in to the next movie, next book. Because I don't really know what to expect for the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole pod about that. I don't know if it's gonna happen tonight at this point, but
yeah, I don't really know.
Submit your questions now.
Yeah.
For Braden's predictions. This is definitely gonna get edited and posted in time. You can cut that out. That wasn't like even a dig. It was just a true statement. For me, I guess it all comes back to the rushing and the total changing of the plot, so it's not a mystery.
Talk more about you. You made a really good point during the movie.
Oh, about them not giving time for actors to act.
Yeah.
And it was like you said, it's just cut, like dialogue, quick dialogue, 3 lines of quick dialogue, and then we cut to the next scene. And my example was, it should be a powerful, spooky scene, seeing baby Voldemort. You know, we did not get very much flashback at all. We got 2 total flashbacks out of, and that's in some ways the backbone of the book, right? We got 2 total flashbacks, and in one of them, he's like, "Okay, I'm a wizard. Your wardrobe's on fire." And what I said was, "Can we watch Voldemort sit on the bed while the focus changes to young Voldemort like walking towards the wardrobe to open it up, so I can live in that moment for a little bit, so I can get an idea of how they're interacting and what the vibe is in the room?" No, it cuts immediately to him standing there with the door already opened, grabbing the box out, and then it cuts back to his bed. And so, like, I get that they're trying to save a few seconds so that Ginny can, like, really slowly say, "Oh, do you want me to stay up here? You can hide me away in the room of requirement, too." Like, that scene took 5 minutes, and we couldn't give any room to breathe for acting to breathe in the other scenes.
Yeah, because like you said, by removing the mystery element out of this, I think when you pull that out, it also pulls, like you said, some of the emotion out of it. And so if you're going to pull the mystery out, pull the emotion out, you do need to, I don't know, it feels like you should give some more space for emotion to come naturally out of the acting.
It's allowed to happen a couple times. Drunk Slughorn, it's allowed to happen. Draco up on the tower, it's allowed to happen a little bit. I get that you can't have how many pages of dialogue like they do in the book.
Right.
That's fine. Okay, you know, the unforgivable what's it called? Unbreakable vow. That scene in the very beginning where Bellatrix grilled Snape for 20 minutes about, like, well, why didn't you do this and this and this? How can I really trust you? Like, would I have liked to see that? Of course. But, I mean, I want a Harry Potter miniseries where you can go through chapter by chapter and just really shoot what happened in the book.
Even the scene where they are in the middle of the, like, Death Lake, where Harry's having to, like, force feed the water to Dumbledore, like, even that was so rushed.
He went right to kill me.
Yeah, it didn't give who plays Dumbledore? What's
Michael
his name?
Gambon.
It didn't give him any chance to, like, really draw out like a
you didn't get a lot of his face.
Painful.
You didn't even get that much of his face.
Yeah, it was.
You got a lot of shell.
Yeah, it was just like continual cutscenes of Harry dipping that shell in the water.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were gonna say, "Can we get them floating across the lake? Can we get them?" And talking a little bit about how Harry feels. Like, that's what happened in the book, is that they were like, okay, like, Voldemort wouldn't have thought about how it could be a full-grown wizard and maybe an underqualified one, and, like, that was his mistake, Harry. You know, age underestimates youth, and, like, that's a big mistake that we make. And, like, I understand that it's scary. Like, you don't get any of that.
Yeah, and I think, like, for me, leading up into that scene where Dumbledore ultimately says, like, I have to drink all of this, so no matter what happens, no matter how much I scream or want to tell you that I don't want to do anymore, like, make me drink this, I started getting, like, hyped a little bit. Like, this is going to be an epic scene.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's going to act his tail off and, like, be writhing on the ground, screaming. Like, this is going to be almost hard to watch.
Yeah.
And instead it was just kind of like cutscenes of a bull going into water.
Because
and
they wanted to get
"Kill
a
me!"
lot of underwater bodies. How many? I mean, it goes on for a little bit, and there's a lot of them that make it onto the screen. It's just count. Oh, well, we got 500 of them on the screen at one point.
Yeah. So, yeah, now that you brought that up and we've gotten onto that topic, that may have been the most disappointing scene for me in the movie. Because I really felt like that was going to be... Because to me, that's where Dumbledore dies.
Ooh, I like it.
Like, the Avada Kedavra curse, like, that sucks and it's powerful, and it's like, hard to watch Dumbledore, like, the scene where you're looking into his eyes as he falls off the tower, that was good.
Oh, yeah. It was a good shot.
Yeah, but I guess for me, reading the book and then coming into the movie, I was thinking, like, that's going to be the scene where I feel like I lose Dumbledore.
It doesn't get better than the cave scene. Yep.
Because it's a certain weakness that we haven't seen from Dumbledore. At least when we read it together, I was like, this is weird. Like, I thought Dumbledore was kind of untouchable, and he's, like, willingly walking into this.
Despite having predicted the week before that he was going to be killed.
Well, yeah. I guess, but I always thought it would be a surprise death, like it would, which it was, but I mean more of like in the midst of battle or something.
Right.
Like Snape comes up and stabs him in the back or something. Like it's the Avada Kedavra curse was so just kind of like he's already weak, he's already down, like he's clearly been beaten up. Like I kind of thought Dumbledore would get killed out of nowhere at full strength.
Yeah, in a more epic way.
Yeah.
What it comes down to for me, so like real quick, the other minister scene where we talk to the Muggle Prime Minister? Cut that entirely.
Oh yeah.
Remember the weird like bridge wobbling scene?
Yep.
Put that in instead. We haven't even mentioned the infamous in the fan community, the infamous scene of the burrow burning down for some reason, and Bellatrix and Fenrir Greyback just sprinting around in the reeds.
Really weird how they chose to utilize Fenrir Greyback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going to have some weird scenes of him in the weeds, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like, was he anywhere else in the movie?
He showed up on top of the tower. He never said anything the whole time.
That was interesting. Because I guess the way the book was written, he was supposed to be a big, scary character, right?
Yeah,
like,
and it's like Draco didn't even want him to come because, there's kids here, which he's known for attacking.
Yeah.
I think that when it comes down to it, like we said, there were good shots. Like, it's cool when Dumbledore has the Ring of Fire up, but maybe it's just me getting old and, like, I care about this stuff more, but it's hard for me to buy into that as much when it didn't lay the groundwork emotionally for any of that stuff to happen.
Yeah.
And so, I want more of that, and the sacrifice was made for more visual effects. And that I think, pretty clearly what was prioritized in terms of what time is spent and budget is spent and that kind of stuff.
Yep. I think we are both on the same page of, like, we want the visual, like, with the movies being made around the books, we wanted them to visually, like, put picture to the emotion.
I want you to try to make me feel what I felt when reading that book.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily want you to show what I read in the book in the most epic way possible.
Like, I don't really need a super expensive firewall scene or a crazy expensive Quidditch scene. Like, I want you to get the best of the best actors and actresses to make me feel what I read.
But, like, we're not saying we don't want a Quidditch scene, because, like, Quidditch is an important emotional driver in the book. Like,
it is, but
it's there. That's the house pride, and, like, they've been working towards it for months. Like, they've been training, and it's a big source of, like, drama. So, like, you can put Quidditch in, but yeah, it doesn't have to be one-upping the last Quidditch. Oh, okay, how can we make it cooler? Well, let's put the ice around, and, like, let's do this and that. And, like, how can we shoot it in a way that's cooler, necessarily?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like we've talked about, you can't pack it all into one movie.
You can't. It's hard.
But I guess what I do think is a reasonable request is you said it best. Like, give the actors a chance to act, and, like, give them a chance to draw emotion out of scenes that, like, clearly when you read them, were written that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, the cast of adult actors, like, if you look at their, you love Gary Oldman, like, if you look at the body of work that these adult actors have put together, like, they're really accomplished, like, stage and film actors. I mean, she's Dame Maggie Smith, not because of her portrayal as McGonagall, it's because of everything she's been doing for 50 years as an actress.
Right.
And, as much as I love her, and I love the scene where she's like, "Take Weasley with you. He looks too happy." Like, I love that, but, like, can you think of very many other McGonagall lines? Like, no, they just don't get a chance. And in the book, she's this beloved character who stands up for Harry, and, she's, like, hard, but she's fair, and she loves, Gryffindor Quidditch, and, like, these things that you just don't get. So, like, why bring in these amazing actors, Gary Oldman, Alan Rickman, who you're just not going to give a chance to really shine? Like, they did it with Jim Broadbent. Like, he is a good actor, and, like, I thought he did... he did a version of Slughorn that I thought was successful.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are armchair movie directors.
Yeah. Just hire us to remake the Harry Potter movies with an infinite budget in a mini-series format for Netflix.
Has that ever been
HBO.
talked about?
I'm
like,
sure
people
it has.
trying to go back and make them, from a different... Because that happens with famous movies, right? Like, I want to do my take on it.
I think we're it's a little close.
It's too recent.
The 7 Part 2 came out in summer of 2011.
Okay,
I think. Summer 2011. So that's not quite 10 years ago. So I think if you give it 10 more years, like, I mean, you're right. There's stuff that's been redone. The Hobbit, there's a Hobbit movie that came out in like the 70s. And then they did a whole trilogy here not too long ago. There's new takes on Batman and Spider-Man and that kind of stuff, which they do because they know they're going to make money. And I would argue that it's similar for Harry Potter. Like, there are fans out there that if you are able to convince them and like are sincere that like we're going to follow the book, like we're going to follow the emotional beats of the book, you can, like, I'm sure there's screenwriters out there who are huge Harry Potter fans. Like, you can get them back on. Like, okay, I'll go see that again. Like, if it's going to be done right, I'll go see it again. If it's going to be a mini series and you're really going to do it justice, we'll be all behind that.
I think it is harder, though, when there are so many movies in a series and you kept the characters the same through the entire series.
Because they're iconic.
To come back and redo it. Like I said, like, even before getting into this podcast, like, Emma Watson is Hermione Granger to me.
Dan Radcliffe is Harry Potter.
Dan Radcliffe is Harry Potter. Like,
that's tough.
Before I would have known who Dan Radcliffe was, if you'd have shown me a picture of him, I'd have been like, oh, yeah, that's the guy that plays Harry Potter.
On the chair, is that okay? Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to okay, so hear me out. You do Harry Potter the animated series.
Interesting. Like kind of a comic book type, like it's on Nickelodeon or what?
I think it's still on like Netflix. And you do like a book at a time, and you do like 20 episodes for the first book, and you hit all of the important story stuff. Well, I guess you could do it two ways. You could either you could just do 7 movies and no, you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I think it becomes more like a Netflix series.
You do season 1. Okay, it's like, did you ever watch the series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix? The Neil Patrick Harris one? It's really good. And they did 3 parts, 2 or 3 parts for each book in the series. And those books are much thinner. And so by that way, they were able to get to all of the stuff that really did happen and do it in detail. So you split each book into 2 or 3 section episodes.
Yeah, I could get into that.
Yeah.
But those weren't animated, right? The Neil
Correct.
Patrick Harris, so that's.
They were. It was not the first time it's been attempted because they did a Jim Carrey.
I remember
Series
that.
of Unfortunate Events movie, which wasn't very good.
Yeah, so I'm sure it will get touched again.
Yeah, it has
future.
to. And I mean, they're also doing the Fantastic Beasts thing, which is trying to cash in on the same property. You're trying to get to the same fans, and I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it in terms of how successful it's been in doing that, in winning those same fans over and hitting the same notes. And it depends on JKR's involvement.
Mm-hmm. Was she very involved in Fantastic Beasts?
In terms of screenwriting and stuff, more so than the Harry Potter movies. But that's partially because they had the books to work with, they had somewhere to go. And so she definitely sketched out okay, here's what's going to happen. Here's your, you can obviously do little things within it, but here's your broad framework of what the story is going to be like. She accompanied that with some writing she did online that fleshed out the world of Wizards in America, in the Americas or in countries that aren't just Britain.
Gotcha.
So we will cross that bridge when we come to it, listeners. I'm sure you guys have 1,000 thoughts that you are trying to scream at us through your headphones right now. We would love to hear them. You can give us a howl at
978-768-8370. You can call or text that number.
978-POTTER0. You can email us, mugglesperspective@gmail.com. You never do, but you could. I would be happy to read them. There's going to be some Facebook posts about tonight. You're going to get to see the epic floofiness that is Cooper Carpenter on this date. You're going to get to see some chicken wings related material, which I think is what you're all really clamoring for. We appreciate you guys. We're really thankful to have a listener base that will put up with the rants and the off-topic rabbit trails that we go down. I mean, we hit on everything from Emma Stone to is Emma Watson too attractive, and Hannah boxing up chicken wings, and I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. It was a well-rounded episode.
Yeah. On brand. We started with music that we don't normally start with, so we should probably... No, don't do that. And with that same music, we've gotten good feedback on starting this while we talk over it still, and then fading into the outro. So I guess I'm kind of stalling so that we can do that again on this episode. And I appreciate your patience with me as I, just make an effort really to let the music continue to go under my voice, because it doesn't really count as an outro if I just stop talking and let the music go. That's what we always did before, right? So I'm trying to differentiate this episode from previous instances of utilizing this music in kind of just a different fashion.
If you are still listening right now, God bless you.
Yes, that was obviously filler. Did I kind of nail it though? Like the filling process?
Oh yeah. You filled it up. It's full.
That's what I do. Just get buckets. Thank you to Hannah and Cooper. Thank you to Rachel and George for letting me come down to Greenwood. Thank you to my mom for going to Delicious with me today. Thank you to Jeremy and Jessica for editing and producing the podcast. I had someone message me on Facebook, and they're like, hey, you have a podcast. Can you help me out with some of the tech stuff? I got some questions. I was like, oh, no. I don't know anything about that. I have a podcast because Jeremy exists. That's why I have a podcast. I had the idea for it before Jeremy, but I didn't know how to do it.
Jeremy made it possible. Jeremy and Jess.
They continue to do so. I would applaud them, but all I can do is Notre Dame theme song them. So, thank you guys.
Bye.